Hello there, listener, and welcome back. If you've downloaded this, put in your AirPods, sat down on a walk, that means you're ready to get spoopied. You gotta be, otherwise you wouldn't have downloaded it.
We're right on the cusp of Halloween. Halloween Eve. All Hallows Eve. It's right at the height of the spookiest season of the year.
The veil between this and the supernatural is so thin. I don't know, maybe there's something behind you. There's not. I don't know, maybe there is, actually.
You had me going there. I can almost taste how close to Halloween we are. It tastes like candy and death.
Well, I was talking to the listener.
Oh, okay. Well, wait, why am I tasting candy and death?
Oh, jeez.
Listener, are you? Let us know.
That sounds pretty good. Hey, what's up? I'm Team Ratnado of Scrollies Podcast, of this Spoopies podcast, the Spoopies Podcast, and I'm here with the co-host who's not a ghost, the spook cobbler, the guy who's, he might be a ghost because I still don't know if he made it back from the past yet.
For the purposes of theming, I am Spook Cobbler today, listener.
But just today.
Just today. Never before this and never again after.
What's up, Squad Cobbler? Here, we're doing some more spoopies.
They must have not hated the first one enough that they asked for more, so we're giving you more. If you submit stories, spooky stories of any kind, dealing with the paranormal, the supernatural, the unknown, we will formulate it into another Spoopies for you. So we have a couple submissions here today, Ratnado, and we'll be getting into that in a moment.
Yeah.
But how you feeling? We're close to Halloween. Are you feeling the vibes?
I am feeling the vibes. It's spooky out. The leaves are turning. And I want to say really quick that it's not just chance. I've been going around knocking on doors, both real and digital, and saying, hey, do you have a personal scary story that you'd like for me and Squat Cobbler to respond to on Spoopies, the hit podcast?
So you're to thank, Ratnado. Thank you for providing us this content through other people's experiences. I've been handing out flyers and posting them on doors, but I think they're getting thrown away, so... You're probably taking more of the lead on this than I am.
Yeah, I've had many doors slammed in my face, but it's worth it. It's time. It's the spooky time. And I kind of wish that, I had more stories still. I have a few, and we're going to tell those as they come. And we just need more experiences from you, the listener, if you like scary things. As you said, today, we're going to be talking about some stuff. One of the phrases that people always talk about when they're talking about scary things, they'll say, oh, things that go bump in the night, right?
I think it's even scarier when you don't hear a bump in the night. And yet, something's amiss.
Squad Cobbler hates a nice sleep.
Yeah. Give me that white noise. Just don't flash anything in my face. That'll get me up right away.
Oh, man. Squad Cobbler, today, I've got a kind of a little bit to say. There's some stuff that's happened to me. Being out here in the desert, it's very easy for things to change, even though it doesn't seem like it should. You can see it for miles, so you often get this idea that things are just always there. They're always going to be there. They're not going to move. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. That sense of permanence, that sense of the unchanging nature of your surroundings.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case.
Not always the case.
Sometimes for unexplainable reasons.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything like that, Squat Cobbler, where, I don't know, something that you couldn't explain happened? Perhaps you were, who knows, in RK Fan's bedroom, and it smelled like pee or something.
Yeah, where did the pee-pee smell go? It wasn't there in the daytime. It was only there at night. And it was before it was RK Fan's bedroom. It was Payday's bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
The casa was freshly moved into after being vacant for a number of months. There was the smell of pee-pee in Payday's room. It came out at night. We swore it was the remnants of a distant past inhabitant. But alas, we could never explain it. We could never explain where the pee-pee smell came from or went.
I still kind of think it was just Payday.
Oh, well, Payday's house strained, as far as I know. Oh, yeah, we taught him to go outside.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Squad Cobbler, we've got these two today from people who, if you're in the community, you may know. What do you think? Do you think we should check out their stories?
Let's give a listen. We're going to give a listen to Empirette's submission.
Alright, so this is Feline, aka Empirette, aka Cliff Diver, aka she of many embarrassing titles, and this will be my spooky story for Scrollies. So, my grandmother died during December of 2012.
Oh.
It's a while
and
ago.
she had a large collection of Japanese dolls. And since then, every time we've gone to visit my grandpa, they live together obviously, every time we visit, one of the dolls disappears without fail. No matter the interval at which we usually come around 2 or 3 times a year, and every single time we come, another doll disappears.
Oh, no.
What in the world?
I wonder if it's the same doll or if it's a different doll each time. That's, I guess up to interpretation.
No, they're all just like conspiring together of like, all right, Empirette is here. This time, you go.
Yeah, maybe it's like a Toy Story situation. They draw sticks and it's like, all right, it's your turn to disappear.
Oh my gosh. No, but the idea of something like that, like actually moving around and like, that's probably one of my biggest fears is just like that something else has consciousness. Is that something?
No, I think that's legitimate. That's legitimate fears. Inanimate objects are meant to stay inanimate, and when they start moving, that's 15 out of 10 dreads.
Yeah, 15. That's way too many dreads, to be honest. Empirette, if you're listening to this, we got to know. Like, have you ever like found them? When do they show back up? Because I mean, it could, number one, it could be your grandpa messing with you. Number two, like if they are moving around, what are they doing? Where are they going? Are they watching you?
What if they like turn up in odd places? Like they're in another room, they're like on top of a shelf, or like they're like under furniture. I mean, how would they even get there?
That's true.
That's real spoopy.
I don't know, Squat. What do you think? If that ever happened in your house, in your like 100-year-old house, how would you even know? Because it's so dark in there. It's so like old.
Well, my shoes go missing all the time, but I think that's pretty directly related to Lucy thinking they're a chew toy.
Oh yeah.
I always find them over in her bed and around the house in little corners where she likes to hang out and play with her toys. So that's kind of similar. Not a toy to me, but a toy to Lucy. That's spooky though. If it's not to blame on animals. If Empirette's grandfather says not him, I mean, what could be doing it? It certainly isn't herself. It certainly isn't anyone she knows of. So is it the doll itself or is it something else?
I kind of feel like we need more information. We need like a follow-up pup or something like that, if you don't mind, or something.
Part 2. We have questions we need answered. Is it the same doll every time? Do they turn up eventually? And when you do they have anything to say to you?
And also, like, where did the dolls come from? What is it about the dolls specifically that make them, spoopy, as it were?
Well, they're Japanese. Automatically spoopy.
I mean, maybe. I guess so.
Not as spoopy as Russian dolls. Those are just spoopy in concept, like a doll within a doll. I mean, how deep does it go? At what point is it no longer doll and is it just choking hazard?
Is that... oh my gosh, that's actually... Oh no! And you'd never know which one is missing until you open them all, either.
That's even spoopier in my opinion. Russian dolls, but hey. If those go missing, you wouldn't even know until you check inside and see.
Well, that's pretty terrifying, Empirette. Thank you for sharing with us. It was good to hear, good to listen to. It doesn't sound like you're that scared, though, to be honest.
Oh, this might be more of like an unsettling, like lingering feeling. An actual instance of fright. There's no whistling, man. That's... Oof. Let me tell you, if those dolls were whistling, or if a hand appeared, no thank you.
Still follows him to this day. That's actually terrifying.
Do these dolls follow you to this day as well, Empirette? We must know.
How would she know?
When was your last encounter? Oh, that's right. Maybe she doesn't.
Oh,
Maybe she
jeez.
doesn't know.
From a corner, a little doll, like, leans in and looks at her.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness. Well, that was great. Thank you so much. We always appreciate when people send that in. I think kind of in the same vein, maybe we have something else from somebody in a former life, in a former time, a former epoch. Squat Cobbler.
Indeed, I think the one and only Reliant K fan, not a Reliant K fan, not fan of Reliant K, the definitive Reliant K fan, has submitted a story as well.
Oh my gosh.
Shared to us today.
I can't imagine something would actually scare RK, but hey, maybe something today did. Maybe.
I can think of a lot of scary 4-letter words, but aside from that, RK's pretty hardy. I don't think.
Like milk. Is Reliant K fan lactose intolerant? I feel like he is.
I believe he does drink almond milk for that reason. So milk is the scariest 4-letter word to RK fan. You have to wonder why Charles Prime continues to traumatize him with constant exposure to milk and milk-based products.
It's been a con the whole time. Well, should we give this a listen, Squat Gobbler?
I suppose we will. Listener, if you're lactose intolerant, just be wary. We don't know. We're venturing into unknown waters, unknown frothy white substances.
Hey there. My name is Reliant K-Fan, and this is my story.
I'm too scared.
So once upon a time, that time being when I was roughly 5 years old, my parents went out to go to dinner or a movie, or I don't know where they went. But all I know is that they left me and RK brother behind on purpose. They hired a babysitter.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Now, my brother and I'm 5, he's 3. We're playing hide and seek with our babysitter. I don't remember her name, but we'll just call her babysitter, I guess.
Miss Babysitter.
I don't believe this anymore.
I remember, so she was it, of course. My brother and I were trying to hide. RK brother and I.
Imagine calling Walter Official and or Moffle 3 RK Brother.
Ugh.
He has a name, RK.
The branding, you gotta do that for him. Just that little bit, RK. Come on.
RK brother and I go into RK brother's room, and now he had this bed where it was pressed up against the wall, and so the side facing away from the wall had drawers you could pull out. If you went kind of behind it, the side that was facing the wall, there was kind of empty space, which was supposed to be used for like storage, but what we would do is we would always like hide under there and like a cool little fort sort
That's
of thing.
kind of cool fort.
So we hid under there. And now when we were hiding under there, we could see out like under his desk and then like towards his window. So we could see that corner of his room. Now, I remember the two of us were hiding there, and we're just trying to hold our breath and not get caught, obviously.
If you breathe, she'll catch you. Babysitters notoriously can do that.
I can smell your fear, too.
I look towards the window, and I see something. I see a smiley face. And now, it looks like it's a smiley face that's like... imagine it's really, really cold, and there's like frost on the windows, and it looks like it's like in there. Like someone just did it with their fingers. Not from the inside. That would have to be from the outside.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of freaking out. And I'm like, wait, what? Did I just see what I saw? And I want to look further, but I can't because it would give away our hiding spot. Eventually, babysitter doesn't find us. So we end up like giving away our position. Once we do, I'm like, guys, come look at what I saw. I ran to the window. It's not there.
No way.
Is gone. Now think what you want about that. I don't know. I still remember it pretty vividly. Personally, I don't think it was like a ghost. I think it was an angel watching over me. And that's, I think that's a lot to do with the way in which I was raised. Think of that what you will. Still remember it to this day. And that is my story.
I think RK meant to send this to our other podcast, Holies.
Well, what are angels but good spookies?
Wow.
Wow. Well, that's I guess that's we have another disappearing object story. So that's a little spooky. RK might have a little bit of a different outlook on it than MP but nonetheless, 2 objects disappear with no one to blame.
Goodness.
Supposedly.
But imagine that you were doing that, you were playing hide and seek, and this Japanese doll like peeked around the corner.
That would be a real scary story. It's a good thing these 2 events weren't related.
That would scare everyone.
What if in our case story a Japanese doll appeared in place of...
And then he'd go on to find out that he actually got that from...
Oh, Susaru, yes. I want a Susaru spoopy story.
And then they brought the bill! Woo!
Oh! That's when the real spoopy happens. When you look at your bank account and you realize you can't afford Susaru.
Oh my. These 2 stories do have kind of that running theme of just like, hey, I thought I saw something should be where it is, or something shouldn't be where it is, and now it moved for no reason.
It's gone. Where'd it go? Nobody knows. Unless it turned up. Then I guess you'd know.
Have you ever had something like that, Squat, where you just like, you couldn't explain something disappearing or reappearing?
Yes. However, it wasn't a spoopy situation. It was a stoopy situation on my part. I would often misplace my phone. I'd be looking for it, I'd be like, where did I put it? I'd be wandering all around. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta find a way to like alert it. I gotta find a way to, make a sound. Let me call it real quick. And then I start dialing in my hand, and I'm like, oh, there's my phone. It's in my hand.
Yeah. Hold on, let me make a call. Yeah, it's dialing. I don't know where it is though. That's our other podcast, Stoopies.
Yeah, Stoopies. It's for the dumb moments of our lives.
This is not Stoopies. I have something, Squad Cobbler, I'd like to share with you. It is kind of Scoopy. I know we're laughing and stuff, but this is about to get really serious.
Number 10.
The time Ratnado went out and couldn't find the thing he saw again. No. Truly, though. I live in Utah, okay? I'm not going to say exactly where. If you're smart, you can figure it out. If you really pay attention, it's not too hard. But I'm quite far into the desert. I'm about as far away as you can get from civilization in, let's say, the continental United States.
Right next to a few rocks and a bush.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of bushes. There's some rocks. Might even be a mountain. As we were wont to do when we were younger kids, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, tons of video games. And so we actually still spent a lot of our time outdoors and doing things. I remember one time.
Wow, what a concept.
I remember one time we were heading out and just going around, looking around, exploring, seeing what we can see. And, there's people who go out there and they camp. But I have a memory of this being like probably early spring, so still pretty cold out. Nobody's really out camping yet, Squad Cobbler. The area around here, there's actually like a lot of variation. It is flat enough that you can see, but there's lots of like washes, little canyons, outcroppings and things like this where it's very easy to hide.
Never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a rattlesnake or two.
You have to be careful where you walk too, because you could just be walking and then there's a cliff you could fall off of. Watch out, MP Red.
That would be quite the dive off a cliff.
Cliff diver, as she said. And it's a specific area that's pretty well known. How much should I give away? As you know, I'm Navajo, Native American, and there was an older people that they say used to live out there. They're not quite sure where they went or what happened to them or why they left. There's a lot of things like that. That'll get you pretty close. That'll get you really close to where I live, just with that information.
Circles and circles. Circles
within circles. And so we were kind of looking around, and we know there's some ruins out there. And I remember that we came across like this building. It was kind of a shed, I guess, if you will, built out of logs. And I struggle to say that it's like, I don't know. It was a weird construction, and it looked like somebody maybe had been living out of it. Maybe they were hunting. And so even for here, that's kind of extreme.
Might have been the Unabomber's second residence.
You joke, and this will totally give it away. There is like people who have like gone out there and like kind of like disappeared, like to hide out a little bit.
Ooh, off the grid. All right.
Yeah, if you're smart enough and you do some digging, you can pretty easily figure out my general area from that information.
This is starting to sound like a challenge to the listener, so take that as you will, listener.
I'm moving soon though, so don't bother. It's not worth it.
The pressure's on. Time sensitive.
And anyway, I remember I was with a couple friends, and we go out there. It's still a little chilly out, and we see this thing, and it's just like somebody's living out here, and we're like, oh, we're stupid kids. We're like 15, maybe 16, and we start digging around and looking at the house and being like, oh, there's a window. Let's see if we can peek in. And inside, it was just like, there wasn't like a bed. It was just really dark. Maybe like some skins. Is that fair to say? As we talk about it, it leads to a topic I don't want to talk about, possibly, and so we'll cut that short there.
We're steering away.
We're steering away from that.
Veering off into another direction.
And this is a fear I do have of that. And the more I think about it, the more maybe it is something weird like that. But anyway, suffice it to say, we're like, this is strange. Well, let's continue on. And the next day we ran into another friend who's like, yeah, we were out there looking at all this stuff. Let's go look again. And we went back the next day, and I'm still like positive in my mind. It was in my mind. I knew this is the spot. Of course we came here. Like, I didn't check for our footprints or anything, but we go there. Completely clear. Completely gone.
The structure, the pile of sticks
Yeah.
It was an inhabitant who was no longer present.
It didn't look like anybody had ever lived there before, that there had been set up shop there. And that does terrify me. There is something weird about that. And so I'm sharing it to say, like, yeah, there are things that happen, I think, and people, somebody, maybe they saw us, maybe they saw their footprints, but it was weird enough that it was like there was no trace.
That not to make light of Empiret's or Arcay's stories, but those were just small, holdable objects that went missing. I mean, we don't know how those went away, but it could have just been picked up by someone. Not saying they were, but could have happened. A whole log cabin, big old planks of timber.
Yeah,
not as easy to just up and walk away with.
And what's crazy is that people around here, everyone knows each other, and most people know, like, if you have a spot, they're like, oh yeah, of course, that's old man Jim, that's his spot, and that's this person's spot. And it's totally possible that we went there and we just went to the wrong spot, and we're like, oh, this was it, dude, and now we all misremember it. But in my mind, it wasn't weird at the time. I remember I felt a little strange about it, but it was like years on where I'm like, whoa, what if that was something?
A child's memory in an adult's mind is certainly one to play tricks on you, but maybe this wasn't such a case. Maybe this was a real-life example of a disappearing object. A large one at that.
And the implications of it are terrifying. Somebody seeing you or knowing you were there. And so even when I go out now, like with people here, I'm like, okay, we've got 8 hours of light left. I am taking my phone with GPS, and I'm taking every single precaution because it could be dangerous out there. So
you never know. You never know what might go bump in the night, as they say.
Exactly. And that's, like, also, I'll say really quick too, that's good advice for everybody. Anybody who, like, if you're not from, like, I feel like I grew up in an area where being outdoorsy was a thing. And I think a lot of people, like, for maybe people from cities and stuff, they kind of don't understand, like, things can turn south real fast.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's so many examples of people who aren't familiar with the area they're going, just going off somewhere, trekking out into the wilderness, thinking it'll just be a short one day's hike, and then next thing you know, weeks have passed, days have passed, no one's heard from them, and oftentimes the result isn't too pleasant.
Oh man.
So be aware of your surroundings, folks, and take some precautions before you head out, so people know where you're at and people know how to find you.
Yeah. One, and maybe we'll talk about this in another episode, Squat. But the idea, this is what I'll say: if you really plan to go out and like hike and do stuff like that, for some reason, people who take a GPS, like, they drop the money on a GPS and some sort of protection. I'm not going to say what you should take, but those people don't seem to end up missing. So in the realm of Spoopies, I'm putting that out there.
That has a little bit of overlap with another podcast of ours, Survivalies. And, you don't have to listen to that to just get this free advice. Be prepared and obey the scout law. I mean, yes.
Yes.
Take what you need out into the wilderness to survive.
Yes. As the scouts and Scar of the Lion King say. Be prepared! Thank you so much, man. Thanks for being here. We want to thank, again, Empiret and Reliant K-Fan for sending those in.
Absolutely. Much appreciated. And listener, if you as well have a spoopy story of any kind of a scenario where you didn't feel quite right, can't explain what was the cause of that, please send it in to scrolliespodcast@gmail.com. DM it to me or Rat on Discord, and we will try and get another episode out to you eventually.
All right. Well, stay spoopy.
Stay spoopy, and happy Halloween, everyone. Just to remind those of you that have heard, and those of you that have not, we are having a Halloween episode released tomorrow night on October 31st, midnight Mountain Time, which I guess is technically November 1st for some of us. But nonetheless, if you're interested in joining us for your Halloween festivities, we'll be making some big announcements then, so you'll want to be the first to hear those. That will be going live at exactly that time, and maybe even a little early on the Team Ratnado Discord.
Whoa. All right.
Now you know.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and goodbye. Be safe out there.
Stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye.
See ya.